Yeah, I was looking back and it's like, you know what? That makes perfect sense.
Offensive lineman, man. So for folks that don't know, Pancake Platoon, for folks that don't know, refers to the offensive line. I mean, the ultimate block is to pancake a defender, right? To put him on his back or on his belly and just keep him down. So if you can do that, and that's a good day.
So I have Wayne with us today. Is it? Can I call you Wayne or is it Mr. Lesperance?
You call me Wayne.
Okay.
Or Mr. Wayne.
Or Mr. Wayne. Because I said that earlier was Mr. Wayne, and somebody goes, "Who?" I said, "Mr. Lesperance." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
No, Wayne's good.
Okay.
But I appreciate your Southern upbringing that makes you want to do that.
Yeah, I mean that's the way I was raised was yes sir, no sir, and all that. So Mr. and Mrs. If you don't mind giving us a little bit of backstory about who you are.
Sure. So my name's Wayne Lesperance. I am Sterling's guest here. I'm here with my good friend, basically my adopted brother, JP Marzullo, family member here. JP comes to NEC for just a passion for the college. My job here, this is 26 years at NEC, starting off as a poli-sci professor. A few years ago, they decided to make me president. I'm still wondering what about that, but here I am. And I'm having an awful lot of fun. I get to hang out with students like you, Sterling. I get to be part of team activities, whether it's football or my niece plays field hockey or whatever it is. Women's basketball, having a great season. So for me, when I decided what I wanted to do after college, I didn't want to leave college. I wanted to stay in this environment because I didn't want to stop learning. And so going on to becoming a college professor and eventually an administrator, the selfish part of that is I get to have a lot of fun learning something new all the time. And for me, that's what life is all about. Just keep learning, keep doing, and enjoying it. So that's my background, I guess.
How long have you been at NEC?
Yeah, this is my 26th year. So I came here in 1999.
1999.
What year were you born?
I was born in 2000.
Yeah, I feel old. That hurts.
Yeah, more than you know.
So, what made you decide NEC?
Yeah, it's a good question. So I grew up in Virginia Beach, Virginia. I had not seen a whole lot of snow in my life, and when I moved up here, I learned how to drive again, walk again, everything. It's a very different reality. The honest answer is I came to NEC because I was a political science professor, and New Hampshire has the nation's first political primary, presidential primary. And I thought, what better place to teach about politics than the place that has the primary, where the whole state really becomes your classroom. So I made the most of that when I got here, brought presidential candidates to campus. We've had them all here at one point or another. And I got to really sort of see in reality what we were talking about in classes. And that was it. That was, for me, the home run. And then eventually I met my wife here. We have a daughter, and this became home.
So, I know you've made some great decisions in the past few years.
You're thinking about one in particular?
One in particular is bringing football back to NEC. So, I was curious of what made you decide to bring football back?
So there's a couple of answers to that question. The business answer to that question is NEC is always looking for ways to increase enrollment, right? To find programs that are going to attract students to the college that otherwise would not choose to come here. Football is that kind of a program. The young men that have made up our team probably would not have chosen to come to NEC if we didn't have football. So last year we added 60 students that otherwise would not have talked to us. We're going to add another 50 or 60 this year. We'll be over 100 football players come this fall. And for me, that's good business for the college. These athletes, they have a higher average GPA than their counterparts that are not athletes. They retain at a higher rate year to year, and they graduate at a higher rate. All of those are good metrics for the whole college, but especially good for those athletes. The key to all that, though, was hiring the right coach. And I think I did that. I think we made a really great choice with Coach Kelly. And the most important conversation we had was, what are the values we're going to bring to this team? I wanted to make sure that we had values that talked about personal honor and dedication and making sure that we were building men of character. Those are important things to me personally. But for this to work at NEC, it had to be important to the players, because we didn't want to fall into the trap of the stereotypes about football players or athletes on a college campus. And I'm very pleased with what I see from the players and the coaches, and that those values really being affirmed. The other reason why I wanted to bring football is I played football in high school. I played football all my life up through high school. And probably the most influential people in my life as a young man were football coaches. They gave me a sense of purpose, a sense of dedication, of hard work, picking yourself up when you fall down. You think about some of the expressions you hear in football. It's a sport that prepares you for life. One of my favorites is keep your head on the swivel.
Mm-hmm.
Football, you get hit pretty hard by guys coming at you, right? But in life, things can come at you pretty quickly, and they can hit just as hard. And having your head on a swivel, seeing what's going on around you, being aware, is just really great to help you navigate through life. And there are a lot of other expressions like that. The notion of the guy next to you, teammate, the team member, looking out for one another. Football is a great equalizer when it comes to race. It doesn't matter if the guy next to you is black, white, Hispanic. Doesn't matter. They're your teammate. You would bleed for that guy. And for me, those kinds of things that come through are really great things to have in life. Really having a sense of team, having a sense of purpose, the ethic, the work ethic. You don't just train and practice during football season. It's a year-round activity. So we're teaching our players here, or we're continuing the lessons with our players here about those kinds of values and ethics. And it's true of other sports too. It's not unique to football. Football was my experience, and I think it's the greatest game in the world.
Oh yeah, that's one of my favorites. Is our old coach in high school. He's like, look to the guy to your left, look to the guy to your right. These are your brothers for the next how many ever weeks. We're going to treat you like a brotherhood,
right? 100%.
Especially on the O line. He's like, you got these 5 guys that are going to be with you for the rest of the season. So might as well get to the level.
Yeah, 100% true, and you can't tell the other guys on the team. But yeah, the O line is special, right?
Oh, yeah.
I was a center. I played offensive line, and I also played a little defense. But I always thought of myself as a center. You're anchoring the offensive line in that role, and it's a special relationship. Don't get all the credit of the quarterbacks and the receivers and the running backs.
No.
It's all right.
We make them look good.
That's right.
Yeah.
They do nothing without us.
So speaking of coaches, what do you think of our new DC, Mr. Elsker?
Yeah, so I haven't met him yet. I
Okay.
don't know a lot about. I'm looking forward to it. I've heard from Coach Kelly. He's great. I think defense is something that we need to work on. Right,
Yeah.
We're going to be playing some bigger guys, some tougher guys, some faster guys this year. So defense is going to be a big deal. Defense wins championships, as they say. So having a strong core defense, having a good scheme, being able to adjust, those are skills that a defensive coordinator has that are beyond me for sure. So I'm looking forward to meeting him.
Well, he's got a good background. I talked to him Wednesday, actually, because I interviewed him for the TV program here,
Yeah, great.
for the new station. And he has a long line of New Hampshire football, and he's from he just left UNH.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
he's got a good
It's a good
overall
program.
fit, and he was on, I think he had 3 tours today alongside me. So I met some of the guys he was bringing in, and so we
Hold on, Sterling. You're not thinking about going defense, are you? Oh
no,
Oh,
no, I would never. But
man, my heart's breaking over here.
If the opportunity came,
You just want playing time. I get it.
yeah,
Doesn't matter. Go both ways.
yeah. Well, that's the thing is, I'll probably start in the spring.
Okay.
Because there's some guys that I know are transferring out and all that, so it opens up the door for me.
Sure.
But it depends on over the summer of how many we recruit come
Okay.
for fall.
All right, I'm going to get past this somehow, Sterling. But that's a
But,
big change doing a defense.
Well, that's the thing is I played both sides all my life. Is I was a defensive nose and right guard, so
Okay.
I know a little bit of both. But I prefer offensive line. If that makes you feel better.
That makes me feel a lot better. All right, let's move on. These are tough questions now.
So speaking of offensive line, Zach Martin from the Dallas Cowboys makes his announcement that he is retiring,
I know.
which is a major piece on our offensive line that we're losing.
Yeah. So some people may not know this, Sterling, but you and I may be the only Dallas Cowboys fans in New Hampshire.
Yeah,
I've been dragging JP over because he's a Jets fan, and that's a hard life. But
especially after this last season.
I'm not sure Cowboys fans are going to have much more to root for than the Jets at this point.
Yeah,
So the hole for us, the Cowboys, the hole just got deeper, and it's been pretty deep already. So, man, there's just a lot of questions going in the off season, going into the summer. What will Dak be up for on his way back? CD's game, will he have a better year because he has his contract settled? He's able to play. Trayvon Diggs. I mean, we've got a lot of questions, and a lot of questions on defense. So.
Speaking of defense, the biggest thing that worries me is how they're waiting to sign Micah Parsons.
That's crazy.
Like, that's a no-brainer.
He is
like,
the heart of the team right now.
Yeah, like, he's one of our best defensive players. There's no reason why we should be.
But this is Jerry.
I know.
Right?
It's Jerry's
That's
world.
the game they play. And, I mean, there's no question in my mind that they want Micah Parsons. I can't believe there's any question in Micah's mind that they want him. Micah would have a lot of options if he were to be cut loose. Man, get the deal done and move on. That's the way I look at it. But I'm not a billionaire owning the Cowboys, so I don't know what pressures he's under.
That's
Mike is the heart of the defense, though.
Yeah, that's a strong one though. But so the other question I have is all the new coaches we have
For the Cowboys.
for the Cowboys. Yeah, because we have a new OC, a new head coach, a new DC, and a new special teams coach.
Yeah.
We went and gave all new coaches that
Yeah.
I hardly even know.
So that's not strange. I mean, when new coaches come in, they often bring it. They want their own people around them, that kind of thing. And typically, a head coach has the latitude to do what they need to do. So if I want to be charitable, you could say, well, we're going to be pleasantly surprised. And these guys, they've got chemistry already. They know sort of each other's schemes and styles. Maybe they hit the ground running and they turn things around. But I've really come to believe that kind of cultural piece is much more important at the college level, at the high school level. At the NFL level, it's business.
Yeah.
It's all business. It's all money. It's all contract terms and length. It's all about setting goals. So your ability to get people fired up, if they're not fired up, making hundreds of millions of dollars, then something's wrong. So I don't know how much of that's going to matter. We'll see. But I'm not. We did not hire the head coach I was hoping we would hire. We did not. I don't think he has the pedigree for this. I really don't.
Who were you hoping for?
Man, there are a couple out there. I love the idea of a Mike Vrabel, former Patriots linebacker.
I was honestly thinking Jason Witten.
Witten would be huge. Talk about a great legacy.
He played for us, and so he already knows the organization very well. Yeah. And that one, what better way to
man of character as well.
Exactly.
He really lives a life.
Especially that, but a lot of people always say though, Jerry's always the yes man.
If you're going to coach for Jerry, why did Jimmy Johnson leave? Because Jimmy didn't want to play that role, right?
Yeah.
If you think about all the coaches after Jimmy, they all had played that. Even Parcells left abruptly.
Yeah.
Because of the same thing. And Parcells is a hell of a coach. He's a top coach. I don't know. I thought maybe Deion Sanders, but I want a coach that is independent, that's fierce, that can create his own scheme. And I don't know if you can do that with Jerry. Jerry sees himself as the general manager, and he's going to make player decisions, and it's hard for coaches.
My dad likes to say that Jerry's not only the owner, the GM, but he's also the coach.
And I think Jerry probably thinks that. I think Jerry would agree with you.
He does all the interviews.
Yeah, he does.
Pretty much. You never see the head coach going.
No, it's always Jerry.
Yeah.
I don't know. At some point, Jerry will retire or he'll die, doing the job. But I don't think his son's going to be any better. So as long as the Jones family's on this team,
we always say the best option for the Cowboys if he'd sell it, because his sons are the exact same way he is. So if it falls into their hands, we'll be miserable for the next.
Mark Cuban would be a great owner. Elon Musk would be a great owner. I think he'd let other people do it.
Mark just let go of the Dallas Mavericks, so he needs something else to own.
He's got some free time.
Yeah. So switch it up a little bit. I didn't know much about hockey, so this 4 seasons thing that happened over this past week was a pretty big deal, especially when the U.S. made it to the finals against Canada, and when we played them, I think the first round or something like that.
First game.
Canadian booed the national anthem.
So the first couple of games, even when Canada wasn't playing us, they booed the national anthem up in Montreal, right up in Canada. And that got some people fired up. Everybody's heard about it now, but the 3 fights in 9 seconds.
Before the puck was even dropped.
Yeah.
It was, that's why some people watch hockey.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge hockey fan, but I certainly watched the last game. It was a disappointing outcome. But
because we ended up losing to them.
We did. But, this is something new. It's the first time the NHL has done this.
Instead of an all-star
all-star game. Yeah.
It is good.
And it was great. It was really well done. It was interesting. It was fun to watch, and it was really good hockey.
I think there were like 10 million people watch that.
It's crazy.
Which is insane for hockey.
That's insane.
Tickets at the Garden were like thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Like terrible seats. I mean,
Yeah.
there was a huge demand to be able to go see those games live.
Wow.
So it's a good business thing.
Yeah. Plus, I think it brings like 10 million views more because that's the same way with NFL. I mean, like everybody's going to watch NFL, but you bring in some sport like me, like for example, I'm from Texas, so I hardly there ain't an ice rink anywhere around. So I've never even seen hockey until like the other night when me and JP went to men's hockey. I was like, this is the first game I've ever
Yeah,
seen.
we saw it here.
I used to say in the South, they used to say it's not true anymore. The only ice you're going to find is in your sweet tea.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, sometimes, yeah.
I mean, we never have ice skating rink growing up.
Because it was almost 5 years ago since we had the last snowstorm.
Yeah.
It's been that long.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty wild. So keeping on the same hockey, I want to congratulate our NEC men's hockey team for making it to the playoffs.
That's right.
They have another game today against
Albertus Magnus.
at 4. And but yeah, that's pretty cool. I don't know if this is accurate, but when I was in there, I saw the banners and all that hanging up, and it says we haven't been to a tournament since 2005.
I think that's true. It's been a while.
So it's pretty special.
It's been a long drought, yeah.
Yeah.
This is great. Our coach has been around for a while. Tom Carroll's a great coach. You know, he's got those guys going. They started off a little bit slow this season, but in the last month or so, they've had, I don't know, something like 9 out of 10 wins. I mean, they've really found that mojo, and they're getting it done. So
I get most of my intel from a senior, David Novotny.
he's a great guy and a golfer too.
Yeah, he's a great guy. He was with us last semester in our play as our AD, and I got to know him pretty well, and I get all my intel from him. And he invited me to that game that I sat behind JP at, and I was like, dude, I'm gonna tell you right now, I had no idea what's going on, but it was fun.
It's fun to watch. Right?
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah. But yeah, he's in the senior nights tonight, so they're gonna. They're gonna do something for him and the other guys. So that's why I told him. I said I'll show up and support
Folks
him.
should go. Folks should definitely turn out for that. That's
Oh yeah.
Gonna be a big night.
Oh yeah. So when would the playoffs start? Is it like a week or two?
I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, I think it's another week or two out.
Because I'm assuming they'd give them all time to rest and things like that.
I don't know how much they get really. I think it's actually pretty quick. So once the season ends, it's usually just a few days after. But you know, if you go to the game tonight, ask because I think that's
okay. Yeah, I'll need to ask that. That's for sure. So I got some baseball news, but I don't know.
Right, wait a minute. What team are you a Texas Rangers guy?
Well, it's like I was telling JP earlier. Okay, so I went to a Boston Red Sox game last year, and they were playing us Rangers.
Okay.
And then by the end of the night, I became a Boston Red Sox fan.
I got This is not good.
I'm just telling you right now, my accent may never change, but my heart,
loyalty's apparently.
My loyalty is totally different.
Come on, Sterling. That's terrible. JP grew up right outside a suburb of New York City, and at some point was rightly raised to be a Yankees fan. And I don't know. I think somebody tricked him along the way, but now he's a Red Sox fan.
I just love how their fan base was like active the whole game.
All right,
us Ranger fans were just like,
Well, you need to go to a Yankee Red Sox game.
I hear that's like the biggest thing, though.
Go.
That's what they were telling me is at the game was like, oh, you think this is something? Wait until we go to a Yankees game.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a Yankees fan, and JP, and I still get to be friends even though now I'm gonna have to question this whole thing we got going here.
Well, and theoretically, I am a Rangers fan, and so that's all my baseball thing. That's what I was getting at. It's like all I have is about World Series news and people that we've traded. And just like since '95 with the Cowboys, we ain't won a Super Bowl, and it's because we keep trading everybody away. Like we had Andrew Heaney, who's a lefty pitcher, and he won the series with us last year, and he signed with the Pirates. Yeah. And then Josh, I'm gonna butcher his last name, but Jang, and he come back from injury a few weeks ago to fill in for his spot. But I mean, that's like I said, is with the Cowboys. I mean, we won it last year, or actually it's been last year. But we probably won't win another one for
You
the
mean
next
the Rangers?
for the next 5-10 years.
So the business of professional sports is that when you do really well, your guys all want a lot of money.
Yeah.
Right? So this right now, the Eagles, the Chiefs are having some real issues with who they're going to say who's going to go, but it's not unique to them. Players want to get paid. I mean, it's a business, right? And when you have success, you're going to say, well, I got you this far. I want some more money, and it's when you have to have some tough decisions made. It's the same thing in baseball, and baseball may be even worse because some of the position pay such crazy numbers.
Yeah, like Soto.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And Devers, they paid him $380 million, I think, over.
Like Bregman.
Yeah, like
He's getting 40-something a year.
Yeah.
So, Dak's contract over however many years is $50-60 million. But you get baseball players that are making $300 million. I mean, it's a whole different level.
Whole different ballpark.
Yeah, literally. So they're going to move around. They're going to go where the money is.
Yeah, but
back in the day, if you talk to professional players, they would say, "We play for nothing." Really,
we play for the love of the game.
Yeah,
I've heard that.
That was pretty true.
Yeah.
So what do you think of that mid to ending season sign for Dak? Nobody knew was coming.
I don't know. I mean, I think it's just one of the many questions the Cowboys have to sort out, right? I mean, who's our backup going forward that can play even in the same ballpark? Is it Cooper Rush?
Roughly.
Cooper,
because we haven't even seen Trey Lance play.
No, Cooper's done pretty well. I mean, you got to admit, but he's not a young guy, and he's not Dak. And so, if new coaching staff trying to build a new offensive scheme, we don't have a running back really. We're pretty one-dimensional, and if you have a quarterback that doesn't have the ability to move around in the pocket or out of the pocket, you're very limited. So
I remember wasn't there a guy named Hill that?
Oh, Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, Tyreek Hill.
Yeah,
Whatever happened to him?
He plays for Miami right now.
Miami.
Oh, is he?
Although he's looking to move.
Yeah, that's another big news right now is he's wanting out of his multi-million-dollar contract
for more money.
Well, he wants to trade.
Get out.
He wants to go to a place where he can actually win a Super Bowl.
Right.
Yeah,
because where he's at with a quarterback that gets a concussion every other game, it's not looking too good.
Tua's having
a especially for I think he's 26 now.
Tua?
Yeah, he's very young to have so many concussions already.
Yeah,
but we'll put us on the spot. That has 90% has to do with the offensive line.
That's right.
So can't really blame a whole lot on Tua.
Well, but so offensive line will say if he just didn't hold the ball so long.
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, you got legs for a reason, dude.
Right.
Learn how to run.
You need to move, right?
All right, I'll read you a quick PSA here. All right. It's called Blood Donation Appeal. Your one blood donation can help save the lives of multiple people, make a difference in the lives of others. Give blood through the American Red Cross to help hospital patients. Call 1-800-RED-CROSS or visit redcrossblood.org today. That's something we did this past week. NEC hosted a blood drive.
Yeah.
Turned out pretty good. I had the opportunity to interview Allie Birchmeyer about it.
Yeah.
And
she's a rock star, by the way.
Oh, yeah, she's awesome. And I think she said they had over 50-something donors.
Yeah, that sounds really
wow.
good.
So
every semester we do this.
Yeah.
And it's really important, right? Because blood banks, especially in the wintertime, get low. In their stores, and so I mean, it really is giving the gift of life. So I love it when our community turns out for that, and it's just a good way to give back, and it's relatively easy for folks to do. So
yeah, she said the next one will be in April. I'll try to go to that one.
Good.
Yeah. Only issue I ever had was I'm a hard stick, so it takes them like 2 or 3 times to finally find a vein.
Yeah. That's all right. They're good at it. They'll find one eventually. And then you can get some orange juice afterwards and some cookies or some donuts. I mean, it's not stuff that's good for you.
Don't tell Coach.
Don't tell Coach.
Exactly.
We're all on a weight gain or weight loss regimen right now. So see how that goes. But I don't think I've ever, where I'm currently at, I don't think I know any, even in the pros, they're where the way I'm at, that's where they are.
Yeah.
So I don't know. He wants me to be roughly 315, 320.
Okay.
As a guard, that's decent.
Yeah.
I know some of them are like 340 plus, though.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah. Well, I'm not going to second guess coach if he knows a lot more about football than I do. But I
Yeah.
think one of the challenges is it's not just about weight or size; it's about strength. It's about quickness.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is he's like, I got good legs and good arms
Yep.
to get off, good and all that. It's just moving, being able to continuously go 4
And that's the
quarters.
other piece is the endurance.
Yeah, be able to go 4 quarters long and not.
That's going back to hockey. We're saying that's what's so amazing about those guys.
Yeah, they hardly ever come off.
If you think about it, it's like football, but it's not. It's like soccer because they never stop moving. They're on ice skates the whole time.
Yeah.
And they're hitting like football players hit. I mean, that's an impressive feeling.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Like when I watched that game, like they wasn't even on the ice maybe a minute and a half, and then they're rotating into the whole nother line, and they're just constantly going. And I was like, that's pretty effective to keep your guys fresh and never tire them out. So
Yeah, they're going full speed, getting banged into boards.
yeah,
Their hips aren't real good after a few years, I'm sure.
Yeah, carrying 25.
The other thing that impresses me is they may get cut, they run them down and stitch them up, and the guy's back in the game.
oh yeah.
These guys they're tough.
I told Nova though I wanted to see a fight.
You wanted to see a fight?
Yeah, that's the main reason why I watch hockey.
That's a lot of people. Why a lot of people watch hockey.
Because it's like the only one where I know, besides boxing, that you can actually punch the dude and get away with it.
Well, and the ref just stands there and watches until they go to the ground or until it's over.
The Kachuk brothers did a great job.
Football will get ejected.
Yep.
No
Basketball.
Basketball, you get ejected. I mean, every other sport besides hockey or probably boxing, you really get away with it.
Yeah.
So it's pretty
That's a
cool.
good point.
Yeah. So do you follow the draft any?
It's a little bit.
Just a little bit?
Yeah.
So the recent mock draft came out this weekend, and Cam Ward out of Miami selected to go first overall to Tennessee.
Where do they have Shador?
Didn't see that, but I can double check on that. But Travis Hunter, his counterpart, will fall out of top 5.
Really?
Mm-hmm. That's where it has him, which is kind of shocking because it had him going number 3.
Yeah. So the funky part about the draft is it's as much about what the teams that are going to be picking early need as it is about what's available, right? So you could be a great quarterback, but if the top 3 teams don't need a quarterback, that can really hurt your stock. So I don't know how much of that really is about the player. The other piece that they pay a lot more attention to than they used to, I think, is character. So, and I don't know about any of these guys, but if you're a problem child, more and more teams will say, we don't want to have that problem.
Shador is pick number 3, selected to go to New York Giants currently.
That'd be a heck of a pick for that.
I mean, which they're struggling in right now. So that's
the problem with that
pretty
is
good
they don't have
pick.
an offensive line.
I was just going to say
they don't
that.
exactly.
No
Yeah.
offensive line.
I mean, it's a start, but they're going to have to make some moves on the line.
They, I was thinking that they'd probably get a wide receiver too, or something like that, because that's where I thought Travis Hunter would fall, because he's going to enter the combine as a cornerback.
Yeah.
But the recent posts or the recent updates have said that he would be the first ever two-way player. So they're going to let him play cornerback and wide receiver, just depending on, I guess, what game of the week.
We've seen some phenomenal athletes in the NFL, and other than gimmick plays or situational use, it's not common. You really two-way applies starting on both sides of the ball. That's just unheard of at that level.
They have him falling to pick 6 for Las Vegas Raiders.
Okay, I guess you can see that. I'm a little surprised. I thought he'd go higher.
Yeah, well, he was top 5. He was supposed to be, like I said, number 3. But I don't know if, I guess, somebody's already done a trade and moved him up, because we were 12 and now we're down to 13. Yeah. We're pick number 13 now.
So what do we need? What do you say is our first?
We're projected to get Ashton Genty
Yeah.
out of Boise State, another running back, which would make sense because we got rid of Zeke,
Right.
and we'll save in some cap space because that's another thing with the draft is they also are paying these guys,
Their first year contracts.
which are outrageous.
Right. But they're compared to some veterans that are really good.
They're not that bad, yeah. But so that, but then again, though, we already have a pretty decent back room. I mean, we have Dottle, and then we drafted a running back last year in Deuce Vaughn.
Yeah.
And so we've got some pretty good running backs. I really wish they'd get the guy from Penn State, the tight end from Penn State, Tyler.
Yeah. There's some
Cotton,
free
I think his
agents.
name.
There's some free agents, tight end free agents coming out. Not coming out. That'll be around. That might be to play. I don't know if running back. I mean, we desperately need a premier RB1.
Yeah.
I just don't know if that's where you go with that pick. And then what we'll learn really quickly is how confident they are in Dak if they decide to go for a QB. Because I think there's other running backs in the draft that aren't so far off of Genty that you could look at them as well a little bit further on.
Oh, yeah.
But we'll see. What about the Jets? What do the Jets need?
Everything.
Well,
They need a quarterback, first of all.
no, you got, is it Wilson? You still have Zach Wilson, don't you?
No.
No?
No. He's gone.
There's talk about Matt Stafford going to the Jets.
Yeah. That's.
I mean, he's long in the tooth, but he's a good quarterback.
That wouldn't be bad. I was hoping that, honestly, hoping that Rodgers would stick around. I was hoping they'd keep him. People thought I was crazy, but
Yeah.
if he was willing to be the mentor that he was mentored in Green Bay, I thought that would help a lot.
You want to know something even crazier? He's on the same track to be like Brett Favre.
Yeah.
He's now done with the Jets, and the Vikings need a quarterback.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of teams.
That'd be pretty crazy. It has New York Jets right now, pick 7, picking a wide receiver.
Yeah.
I need that too.
McMillan is his last name. I can't say Tarana. Yeah. Out of Arizona.
And Mrs. Marzullo is a Bears fan. They also need everything.
They've
got a good quarterback,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah, they do. And I think, some of the trades and coaching now will make a difference.
Speaking of coaching, I really thought y'all were going to hire Coach McCarthy.
With the Jets?
The
Or
Bears. The Bears, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
It looked for a while like he was
it
going to get hired on there.
Yeah.
But
he's taking a year off?
He's taking this year
He's taking
off,
a year
yeah.
off, right? Yeah.
Which I don't think is a bad deal.
No.
I mean,
He's fine.
Yeah.
Take a year off. Figure it out.
yeah. Come back.
See the lay of the land, yeah.
But I think the Mike Vrabel to Patriots, though, was a pretty decent pick.
It's a great pick.
Yeah. He played for
absolutely.
him
He'll
and
make a
all
difference
that.
right away. He knows
Yeah.
he knows the ownership. He has trust. I think Mayo got kind of a raw deal. I like him. I liked him as a linebacker. I liked him as a coach, but hopefully he ends up somewhere.
Because currently New England Patriots are pick 4, and you're going to take Will Campbell out of LSU, which is the offensive tackle.
Yeah.
To help out the O-line.
That's such a Patriots pick, though. I mean, that's
Yes,
like
it is.
that's a throwback to Belichick. You go with an offensive tackle. I mean, okay.
Well, I mean, you got young, he's not a rookie no more, but young Drake May.
Yeah.
I mean, poor kid could use all the help he can get.
But who's their running back? Exactly.
I have
They-
no idea. No idea.
Exactly. I mean, in
No
terms
idea.
of wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, you don't have a lot there either. I mean, you've got some decent guys, but nobody stands out. So they've got a lot of work to do. But Vrabel will bring a great defensive scheme.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think most of the best coaches, at least in my opinion, in the NFL have been defensive coaches.
Yeah.
They've really made a difference. Because defenses do win championships.
Yeah.
People kind of forget that. But in the O-line.
But it's, we help out a little bit. So for the Jets, do you think that if they do take a wide receiver, do you think they'll keep Devontae Adams?
I think they should, whether they can or not. I don't know.
Because-
They're going to get more with a trade with him, I think, than they would keeping him.
Because you already have Garrett Wilson.
Yep.
He's a decent wide receiver.
Yeah, if we can just get the ball to him.
Yeah. And first you got to get a quarterback.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the other shocking thing is that they're not taking a QB in the first round. They're taking a wide receiver.
Yeah.
We'll see. I mean, we'll see what they actually do. But
They might have something else going on.
and they could
nobody
be a free
knows.
agency.
They probably think like us. We could pick Dak up in the fourth round and he's all right.
So Dak is actually a really good quarterback. He gets a lot of shade. I think he
Yeah.
actually, statistically, he's a good quarterback.
He's
It's
good.
the big games where it kind of falls apart.
Yeah,
What's really matter?
or a year, 2 years ago, where he's leading in interceptions.
Yeah.
He's got his flaws, but I think he's pretty decent for
Right.
what we need at the time.
He hasn't been served by a good offense. It's built for him, really. I mean, it's like I said, it's one dimensional. If you're going to throw the ball 3 out of 4 downs.
Well, if you look even way back to the Ravens, their first round draft choice was an offensive tackle years ago.
Yeah.
And then they won a championship not too far after that. I mean,
So maybe they know what they're doing. We don't know what we're talking about here.
Probably.
Yeah.
Offensive line. All
Sounds about right. We just know offensive line.
right.
So, do you have a second choice? Because if I'm like the Cowboys, I can usually tell like after the preseason, like all right, they're not doing good. So I usually tend to watch Detroit Lions
Yeah.
because I love what Dan Campbell's
I love
doing
their coach.
with that
coach.
team.
Former Cowboy, by the way.
Yeah. So I love what he's doing with that team and continue success. I was hoping for them to go to the Super Bowl this past season.
I think that would have been a better game.
Honestly, yeah.
I really do.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened, to Mahomes during that game, but he was. But if you look at the season, they really didn't, win by a lot of points anyway.
No, the majority of their games during the regular season was won by a field goal.
Yep, pretty much so.
Yeah, and some of the bad teams were actually able to beat them.
Yeah,
right.
Because I know I can't remember. I think it was the Raiders. Might have been the Chargers where it was like 19-21.
Right.
And
it was the Chargers.
Yeah. And that's how they won. Is they went down there and kicked a field goal. Yep. And they barely even escaped by their teeth. But I think he was a little upset because I think Travis Kelce's going to retire.
I think so.
Yeah, I think he's going to be done. If not, then
get married, be Tay-Tay.
Yeah,
Mr. Tay-Tay.
Yeah. If not, they'll probably trade him because their wide receiver core right now is stacked with so many of them.
Yep.
Your second team is the
Lions. Oddly enough,
if you weren't rooting for the Jets, who are you rooting for? Bears.
Okay.
I think there's some.
That's just because your wife threatens you. If you don't.
She does. People don't know that. She's the one that buys the football tickets and the baseball tickets. She's home watching baseball now.
She knows more about sports than most people I know.
Yeah.
I mean, she's a student of all of these games.
Yeah, she is. She knows the trades. She knows. Yeah. It's incredible. People would ask me questions about stuff like that. I said, "Do I get a phone call?
Yeah.
Can I call my wife? Find out."
Right.
She's really. Yeah, she's excellent.
Jeopardy! Can I phone a friend?
Yeah, that's it. Exactly. That's really what we needed.
But so if my mom ain't watching the Cowboys, she's a major Packers fan.
Packers.
Which is a little bit of beef in the household.
Right. That's tough.
So especially when we play the Packers, because the past 2 times we've lost by them.
Well, see, that's the same thing with Donna. When the Bears play the Packers, the Bears hadn't won in years and years and years.
Yeah.
This year they won one.
Well,
so
that's such a great rivalry.
I can remember the Patriots playing the Bears and years ago, the Super Bowl.
Right?
Yeah, 86. So Donna had put all these stuffed bears all around the house and stuff. We invited friends over, and we lived in Mass then for a very short time, and they were all Patriots fans. So they came to the house. She had put a big sign outside the house, Bears Den. She went crazy with it. They came in, of course, the first couple of plays. The Patriots scored. And I said, I thought to myself, this is going to be a long day. And then, of course, they turned it around and beat them. So, yeah.
I wonder what she thought about the Hail Mary in the end zone.
Oh, she was not happy with that. No. She was like, in fact, she said, they're going to show that forever now. You know,
Oh yeah, it's
and
like
That
a
was
major
against
highlight for Jaden Daniels. I mean, he's a rookie
Exactly.
quarterback.
the Commanders, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, Commanders. Yeah.
Yeah, the Bears guy, you know, giving the crowd
yeah.
a tough time, right? Not even paying
Right.
attention.
Right.
He
Yeah.
deserved to lose that.
Yeah.
You know, it was
That was the biggest thing is that dude's like
oh yeah,
10+ yards away from the play and
yep,
turns completely around and mocking the crowd.
Oh,
And
yeah.
he turns back around, the ball's already in the air, and next thing you know, it's in the end zone.
yep.
And everybody I talked to was like, that dude's definitely getting fired Monday. That dude is definitely out of there.
That was horrible.
He didn't have a lot of friends in the locker room.
No,
That's
that's why you always play to the whistle blows.
That's right.
Absolutely.
'Cause that's unbelievable. Let's see here. Oh, perfect time. Let's read a quick PSA. It's called Hope. We are strong, we are resilient, and we will get through this together. But these are stressful times, and it is important to also practice good self care. It's normal to feel overwhelmed, anxious, or afraid, but there is hope. Reach out to someone, connect with your friends, stay in touch with your community, and know that you are not alone. Learn more at wearebroadcasters.com/hope, furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station. And that's one thing, Mr. Wayne. I think it's funny because every time I say that, I think of Mr. Bruce Wayne. Here's your, here's your ride, or here's your tux, or it's like Mr. Wayne. But so we had a tour this morning because I'm a student ambassador for the school here.
Yeah.
And it's one thing I like telling people is that no matter who you are, the school treats you like family. That's what I feel like. Because very first time I was here, I took a tour with Coach Kelly.
Yeah.
And so it's completely different than what the student ambassadors do, because it's more of a sports related tour. And then, but this random girl, never even met, opens the door, lets me and my dad go through, and was like, "You only get that in Texas."
Right.
So I was kind of shocked to see people opening doors and saying thank you, and because my dad had it in his head that we were coming into a major school in the city.
Yeah.
Like he had pictured in his head that we were going to go to a skyscraper school,
No.
and I was like, "No, this is the middle of nowhere,"
Yeah.
and it was perfect. And so every time I take a tour, I was like, "Yeah, these teachers are here to help you be successful and not only in the classroom, but once you graduate, a lot of hands-on experience, and that's one thing I'm very grateful for because my 2-year university, they're like numbers game. They could really care less.
Everybody's a number.
Yeah. Exactly. And so I'm very appreciative for the gifts that I've been given. So on that note, JP, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and
Sure.
your
First, I
your
first want to
days
tell
for-
you about how we met, how Wayne and I met.
Okay.
So I was involved with a presidential candidate at the time, and was going to introduce her here at the school. And the bus pulled in, and I walked out of the bus with her, and there's Wayne to greet us, and that was our first time that we met.
Yeah.
But even more interesting is why I want the mascot of the school to be a bulldog. Is we both had bulldogs. We didn't know that in the beginning, and it turns out that they were stepsisters, so they had the same dad, which we had no idea.
Yeah.
And so we got that was another thing that brought us together. And then from then on, it was just like Wayne said in the beginning. We feel like family. We're blessed to have him and his family around, and we certainly feel like part of their family. I've spent a lot of time here at NEC, and I'd have to say that, Wayne is the one who got me here, really. I saw what he was like, and then I had an opportunity to attend a lot of things, the theater, a lot of events that were going on at school, the graduations and speakers that you had here at the school. I was able to sit through that. And Donna and I have gotten very close with their family, and that's kind of a little bit about how we met. As far as football goes, it's something that I don't talk about a lot. I grew up with my dad telling me to be humble. And the Bible says that as well, but my dad certainly said that. And he said that people will know what you are and who you are by your actions, and you shouldn't go out and brag about it. And if you're any good at what you're doing, you don't have to brag about it. So I started, my career is kind of strange, but you've already heard part of this.
Yeah. It's a great story, though.
The interesting thing to me was I can remember I went to every single practice that wasn't 6 o'clock in the morning. I went to every single football practice, and I sat in the bleachers or on the sideline and just watched it. And the only person who knew me at that point was Coach Kelly and Pepper, and they knew who I was. And I know that I can remember you coming off the field once, and I had a Jets sweatshirt on, and you said, "You got the wrong sweatshirt on, sir." Do you remember that?
I asked you to get you a Cowboys one.
Yeah. And so then Coach Kelly had asked me to speak to the team about sort of what happened, how I became a football player and where I went and how it happened. And the funny thing was, I can remember him saying another day, he said, "See that guy over there in the stand? He was a pro football player." And I'm sure you guys were looking around for somebody big. And
not gonna lie, we were looking for somebody that was probably like 20 years younger.
Oh, at least.
Yeah.
Oh,
We're like, where's this young guy that's
yeah, and
just out of the
here
NFL?
I am with a cane because I have bad knees from playing football. And so I started off in high school playing football. And I was too small, too light to be a running back, so I played defense. And some of the things that happened, I actually played against Floyd Little, who became a Hall of Famer. I had a guard. I was a safety, and he was a guy I had to watch the whole game. And I don't think I told the guys this story, but in the first half, I kept him under control. He didn't get behind me. The second half, he just blew right by me like I wasn't even standing there. So I can remember going to the sideline and saying to my coach, "I need some help here. I can't stay with this guy." And so I was fortunate that my coach, you know how coaches really sort of set the goals that you want to follow, right? He ended up coaching the Cleveland Browns. So we ended up playing. His name was Sam Rutigliano. He was a great coach. And I wanted to play football. And he said, "Well, you're going to have to do something. You're going to have to commit to it. You're going to have to sacrifice. And you're going to have to do things that you think are important to get you to be a better football player." So I idolized a guy from the Naval Academy who was their first Heisman Trophy, Joe Bellino, and he was out of Providence, Rhode Island. And he was about the size I was when I was ready to go to college. So I went from 135, and I played football at 210. So I did a lot of lifting, and I wanted to increase my speed, so I did a lot of things that he did. He ran in the water up to his thighs, and he ran in the sand all the time. But the thing that was really impressive to me that I thought I needed to do was learn how to run almost as fast sideways as I could forward. And so he had cut trees down to be about the height of your knees. And he ran through those full speed until he could run without hitting anything. So my dad was a builder, and he had a field, and he did the exact same thing. So I started doing it very slowly because I'd come home every night with bloody knees because I kept hitting them. But I finally reached a point where I could do that, so that helped me a lot. I went to one of our competitors who were going to play this year in football, and that's Dean College. So I went to Dean, and that's when I had the weight I had on, and ended up getting the most valuable player award. I only played 1 year there. And then I left to go to a 4-year school, but at that time Dean was only a 2-year school. So I went to Sacred Heart University, which was in Fairfield, Connecticut. But strangely enough, they didn't have a football team. And I went there because it was more affordable. I could commute to school, get a good education. And my dad had gone to every single game I ever played, and I wanted to be closer to home. So I called up my former coach and said, "Look, this is driving me crazy. I want to play football again." So he said, "I'll tell you what." And he was at that point starting to look to become a professional football coach. So I helped coach the backs with him for a year. And then he said, why don't you go down and try out for the New York Jets? And I kind of laughed at him. I said, you got to be kidding. You want me to be a walk-on? I can't. This is nuts. And so he said, no, I think the coach will like you. You motivate other people. And you've done everything that a player has to do to become a good football player. And it was about setting goals and never giving up. So I went down and tried out for the Jets, and I made it all the way to the taxi squad. So I played on that role for a few years and learned a lot more about football. And you'll appreciate this as an offensive lineman. In college, I could just turn in my spot and be able to block a defensive end running toward me because I was pretty good size. I was pretty strong. And I tried that one of the first plays of a game I got into as a running back. And a guy ran right over me like I wasn't even there. And so I'll never forget this. An offensive guard by the name of Leo Dragani, pulled me over and he said, hey, rookie, what are you doing? He said, you're not in college anymore. If you don't get to that guy before he gets to you, he's going to run right over you. And so I learned that. And, I played on a team that had two backs that were there for only one reason, which was to block for Joe Namath. So they put me on special teams. And that was a whole other experience because when you're on special teams, you have to have no fear. You have to like the violence. You have to not be afraid to, run full speed into somebody. And I loved it. I absolutely loved it. So I played on special teams for several years. And then I figured I better get out before I got hurt. I had a guy once on a punt that caught me downfield who was 260. And I thought, well, now's the time to get out because they're getting faster, stronger, they were younger. And if you look at today's guys that are playing, there's backs that are 280 pounds.
That's crazy.
Right? Which is nuts. So that's kind of my history in football. And when I graduated from from college, I really didn't know what I was going to do. So I taught school for 2 years at a junior high school. And then after that, I got into healthcare and medical imaging, and was a zone manager for a big healthcare company, Philips, but it was Philips X-ray. So I got to know all about cardiac cath labs and CT and MRI and PET scanners, and so I did that for a little over. Now here's the age thing, right? I did that for over 40 years before I retired. So I'm glad to be here at NEC. I love it. First year we went to a whole bunch of hockey games.
Yeah.
And that was fun, but then it got too cold. My body couldn't handle it. My body couldn't handle it anymore.
You forgot the most important thing.
It was,
you're an alum now of Normal College.
That's right. Thank you. I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was. That was quite an honor. The Alumni Association awarded me. I'm an alum of 2023 because of what I've given back to the school. And so it's been great.
It was a real treat. JP is at everything, right? I mean, you've seen him, right?
Oh, yeah.
So an honorary guy is a really big deal.
Somebody was asking me.
That was a big deal.
Somebody was asking me the other day, and they was like, "Who's JP?" And I kind of explained it as you were like our little mascot in sorts. I was like, "He's at everything." And it's just like.
Hey, I appreciate that.
It's just like the old grandpa that just like never wants to go home.
Exactly.
So JP calls me one day. He says, "Hey, did you see what happened in Huddle today?" And I was like, "What's Huddle?" He said, "Huddle. It's where we watch game film." And I was like, "You have access to the game film?" And he said, "Yeah." And I was like, "I don't have access to the game film." And then I thought about it. I was like, I shouldn't have access because I will not do my real job and spend all my time watching game film. And then eventually I cracked, and I was like, I got to get this. I want to see this. And
I'll tell you, Donna's watching it now, which is hysterical. She'll watch it.
That's fun. Practices and games. It's fun. There was a play where, what's the kid's name? He's a big boy.
Midnight.
Mene.
I already know who you're talking about. I already know what played.
He lines up in
The
the
jumbo,
backfield.
the jumbo package.
Oh, yeah.
He cracks back on a basically, I don't know, it's the equivalent of a pulling guard, but it's like an off. I mean,
Yeah.
It's a jumbo package, yeah.
Yeah.
when he hits this poor kid, man, like you can't hear it, but I'm pretty sure they were.
Oh no, you
out
can
of it.
hear it if you're at the game.
Oh, yeah.
Well, if you're there, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
it was
They
awesome.
ran it once when I was at a game, but man, it was fun. I mean, it's stuff like that. And I'm trying to explain to Mene, I was like, oh man, 85 Bears, William the Refrigerator Perry. He's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
what are you talking about? I'm like,
Yeah, he has
my
no
God.
idea.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have him on next week.
Are you?
We're gonna talk about it and all that. So yeah,
You got to show him the YouTube videos.
because
Fresh.
he reminds me just like him. Because it's one thing. Even during practice, like we had a defense lineman where we'd call 52 wham, where it's like that. He lines up like a tight end almost behind the tackle,
Right.
and he shoots the gap and lays out that defensive
Yeah,
end.
who's ever there is gone.
And he just lays on top of him.
It's
He's like,
his own pancake.
Well, that's the pancake.
yeah,
right?
and he pancaked him, just lays on top of him, and it's like 5 seconons later, and
You guys
yeah.
always see your arms and legs.
Yeah, he's like, the guy's like, get off of me! Yeah, Mene loves doing that.
That's
It's
awesome.
funny.
It is.
He's a character. I mean,
Oh,
there's a
yeah.
lot of guys like that on the team.
Well, and the other thing I really appreciate is Coach Kelly allowing me to go on the
Oh, yeah.
trips on the
bus.
bus with the
Yeah.
kids. That
Had a few road trips with you.
that was great.
Oh, yeah.
I enjoyed that a lot. I'm looking forward to this season.
Yeah.
I told Luke, former coach, our offensive coordinator,
Coach back.
yeah, who's now at Dean, that when we play them, I'm going to have to stay neutral. So I'm going to have to sit alone somewhere.
Are we
But,
home or away for that game?
I think we're away for that.
Oh, all right.
I'm not positive, but I think so.
I'll bring my bulldog.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
So I'm going to look at the schedule. I got the schedule that they had sent out to all people, but I don't remember seeing Dean on there.
It's there. I'm not sure.
Unless it's under a different name.
No.
Because
They're in our conference.
well, we moved out of conference. We're not in the GNAC no more
Well, football was never in the GNAC.
because we're in the New England conference
Football
now.
conference.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this next 2025 football schedule is Plymouth, MIT, Fitchburg State, Nichols, Curry, and then everybody has a bye week. Then we go back to Hudson, Maine Maritime, WNE, Endicott, and UNE.
Oh, I guess what I'm playing.
I'll
this
play
year.
Dean. Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, we had 5 home and 5 away.
It's good. You had all away last year.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
I'm
you
excited.
guys did great considering you were.
course.
Every game was away.
That Plymouth State
That-
game, I wrote to the president of Plymouth State afterwards. So this is my problem, right? Some of these presidents don't have a sense of humor about this thing, right? And I'm like, hey, you're, and I was saying, look, the people there were so nice to us, and, and the crew and the staff, and they were super nice to all of us there. When I got to go out and do the honorary coin toss, everybody couldn't have been nicer. And then maybe at the end, I said, that turnout was pretty good for us as well. Maybe better luck next year. I got the saltiest response from this guy.
I could just picture him putting in the caption below,
Right.
like the picture of us 20-something to
Right?
say
Oh,
that.
man, I'm having
Well,
too much
good
fun.
news is, we have them home next year. That's our
Yeah.
first game home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And this
Gotta
is the varsity squad.
we got to defend them.
We got to.
Yeah.
So he and I have talked about creating something called the Granite Cup.
Okay.
Oh,
right?
that'd be
And the
cool.
winner of that game gets the cup. Right. So, man, there's a lot at stake here.
Yeah.
So hopefully
That'd be
you guys,
cool.
You guys are up for it.
Yeah, because we have 2. We have Plymouth, MIT at home, and then Fitchburg. We go to Fitchburg State, but those 3 are not conference games.
Right.
And then at Nichols, we play home against Curry, which we beat last year. And then bye week, and then we will be away at Hudson, home against Maine Maritime, away at WNE, home for Endicott.
Yep. I'll be going.
That's going to be
Yeah.
a pretty good one because I've been hearing that Endicott basically rules this conference.
They have a good team.
And then we'll end the season at UNE.
That's a beautiful. Did we play up there last year?
Yeah, it's the Blue Turf.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
beautiful space.
Yes, beautiful. And we lost by a touchdown.
Yep.
What color turf should we get when we put a turf field in? You should green.
Well, if you want my personal opinion, don't.
Don't put turf in.
No.
Really?
I grew up on grass.
See,
Amen.
it's-
Amen. I agree.
My
Skills
thing
players
is-
would tell you the opposite.
Well, the thing is, though, is I believe turf causes too many injuries.
I totally agree.
I do too.
Falling
Yeah.
on grass and falling on turf.
And some of them are like, well, I can move quicker
But I'm
on
faster
turf
on
and
turf,
things
right,
like that. I was
right.
like, so what? I'd rather you not get the season-ending injury,
Yeah.
especially for us old linemen, because that's how many we had a lot of them
Yeah.
this past season get injured.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know that my orthopedist is like, man, we love that you got football there. I'm seeing more guys.
Yeah.
I'm like, we're putting a wing on that building. For these guys. So, yeah, no, I get it.
But yeah, my personal opinion,
Yeah,
no turf.
interesting.
But if we did, red turf maybe.
Are there any red turf?
They're
I'll look that up.
East Washington
Has a red turf?
has red turf. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's different though because like when they maintenance and all that, it ends up turning pink.
Oh, that's not good.
No,
Yeah,
not
so-
good at all.
Well, what we could say is we're all about breast cancer awareness,
There you
That is
go.
true.
And
For
then
October.
right?
Yeah.
For October. Yeah.
We'd be all right.
But I mean, it really don't matter to me. Like I've never really played on a turf field, and if I do, it's just the.
Where'd you go to
normal-
high school?
I went to North Lamar High School.
How big was the stadium?
It was a 4A, so it was probably. I graduated with 177.
So it was a small
Small.
school.
Yeah. Well, I was supposed to have over 200.
But it doesn't matter.
Football in
Texas,
Texas.
Yeah.
Texas, yeah, we got like 1A all the way to 7. I'm in the mid range. 4A is like somewhat decent, somewhat not decent. But you get it to 5A, 6A, and 7A,
Right.
and they're like multi-million-dollar
There's
turf
a great
fields,
series on
stadiums.
TV called Landman with Billy Bob Thornton.
Yeah,
See
and
that? So the Permian, I think, is a
Jerry's in it too.
Yeah, he does it. He does a great job.
Yeah, surprisingly, yeah.
I'm like, what? Just
Maybe-
do this instead.
Yeah, no, he should
Yeah.
have went into acting instead
Yeah,
of
seriously. You know,
Cowboys.
the fields they play on, the stadiums, the complexes they have are just, man, it's a whole different world.
But if personal opinion, no. But if we did get a turf, because Coach Kelly's talked to us, but he's like first year maybe, and second year probably not. Probably round 3, year 3, we'd get one. Is where he was thinking. I'd say just keep it normal green.
So it'll be grass
Green
this
turf.
year. It'll probably be grass next year, and then we're looking at.
Yeah.
I mean, what we're hearing.
Kind of like where a field hockey plays.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that color, like
Yeah.
the green. I'm perfectly fine with that. Keep it.
Yeah.
Keep it like an actual football field.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
I do like that blue turf up there.
like Boise State.
State's
Yeah,
got
Boise
it.
State, UNE's pretty cool. That's the first time I've ever been on there. And I could have swore Curry was like a blackish purple.
Yeah.
Curry's end zone was like black, and then their middle section was purple.
That was the game we went to. You took the bus there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I went, I was there at that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a rough one.
That-
There was some questionable calls. There.
Yeah,
Oh,
they
yeah.
were
I feel like I was
They
watching
were-
the Chiefs game.
because they were treating us not as
No, they were nasty.
they were like we didn't really care because there was junior varsity.
Yeah.
But and so there was only 2 teams last year we actually played their starters,
Yeah.
and that was Anna Maria and Plymouth State.
Plymouth State.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's why, because they made the rule before we walked out of the tunnel was like, hey, we just talked to the coaches, and they're like, you can't hit the quarterback.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
And they all
remember
had
that.
the practice helmets on because they were the starters, and
Yeah.
they're like,
Yeah.
didn't even have the scoreboard on for the first half. So I was keeping score. Coach G and Coach Pep were like, where we at, buddy? I was like, we're up 20-0, Coach. I don't know.
that works for me.
Yeah, I was like, it wasn't until like the last quarter they scored 7. But
Yeah.
it was a pretty good game.
That was a good game.
That's some
Yeah.
good football to watch. Yeah.
But,
Yeah. There's. And you can also see where there's room, right? Like we had a center that was snapping the ball high.
yeah.
The quarterback play was really good.
He's not going to be a quarterback this year.
I've met the new guy though.
Oh, we got 2 of them actually.
The guy from Germany.
Yeah,
He's-
Lucas.
He
that's
looks
who
like a
it is.
quarterback.
Oh, does
He's
he?
got to be like 6'2". He's a big boy.
Yeah, and then we got Perry. He's from Florida. Cash. He's a wide receiver. He's also from Florida. I guess they went to the same school.
Okay.
And then Mikey. He's another quarterback, but I think they've switched him to tight end / wide receiver. And then we had another guy come in that's going to be our running back / tight end.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But yeah, Ishawn got moved to wide receiver.
Okay.
He's going to play the X slot.
Okay.
He's going to be hard to stay with.
Yeah.
He's going to be hard to defend. He's
Yeah.
got some great moves.
I feel like whoever we pick OC, Coach Kelly claims we're not going to change a whole lot with offense, so we'll be the same thing, which is perfect because there's some trick plays in there, like when we run screens and things like that. You can throw it to him, and that sucker's gone. Yeah. He's real quick on the outside.
Is Fire back?
Yeah.
Is he?
I actually have one good play with Fire. I was playing left. I eventually, throughout the season, I went from center to right guard to left guard, and I stayed at left guard. And they called 81, and it's me and center doubling to the backside Mike.
Yep.
And as soon as I turn,
As
soon as I turned, I was fixing to go. He was already gone.
Oh yeah.
And he ran a 72-yard touchdown.
Yeah.
Off of that one play.
He's
pretty quick.
Yeah, he's
got that low center of gravity.
Yeah.
Helps too.
Yeah, I mean I look at him as somebody that was in the same place I was. I mean he's small, but he's got he's a good blocker.
Yeah.
Because he can get lower than the other guys coming in.
He reminds me a lot of Deuce Vaughn, the Cowboys pick.
Well, he's like
right
in there.
Yeah,
he's 5 foot something, very short.
Yeah.
But he's not afraid to hit anybody.
Right.
And we also have 2 other great running backs in Dante and not Dante, Donnie.
Donnie, kid from what's the name of the school here? John Stark.
Yeah.
Donnie, he can run.
He's a Gatorade Player of the Year, and so is Aiden McDonald.
That's right.
So we've got some pretty good running backs, but I think we're stretched right now on offensive line and D line.
I can't wait for the season to start. Seriously, I was talking to the board chairman. I was like, listen, I'm thinking about taking a vacation this summer. He's like, oh yeah, what are you gonna do? I was like, go hang out with the football players. He's like, really? And I was like, don't tell my wife, but
Hey, I mean, if we want to go for a summer road trip, let's go.
Let's go, right? Have some fun.
Yeah, I plan on working anyway.
You stay up here?
Yeah, I'm gonna
try.
I've been applying to a bunch of ballparks lately.
Okay.
And I'm hoping to do kind of like this, be a broadcast.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and or
it's from Manchester.
Yeah, Coach Pep said he'd help me with the Fisher Cats.
I got a buddy that is a talk show host at a radio station, and right now he's on a plane going Red Sox spring training. He's going to broadcast from there, so I'll hook you up. Yeah, and I applied for the Woo Sox, which is their double affiliate, and then a team out of Ohio, which is. Oh man, but then you got to go to Worcester.
Wow. Yeah. You want to elaborate on that because we had a thing today, the tour, and they were like, they were all made a big deal about Mass. So is it just like nobody likes Massachusetts, or what's the deal?
There's always a bit of friendly rivalry between Massachusetts and New Hampshire. The folks in Massachusetts call us Cow Hampshire because we're rural. There's no big cities here. That's what they would say.
And you can't say the other word that we call it.
We can't. Yeah, I can't say.
It's on the chart.
Okay. Yeah.
Call them, but anyway, it's all in good fun though, right?
Okay.
And I think it's all friendly. And there's a lot of teasing that goes on about it. Adam Sandler does all kinds of bits about it. So Adam Sandler, Adam Sandler, the comedian and the actor.
Yeah.
So he's from Manchester, New Hampshire.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
And he loves to sort of torch Massachusetts whenever he gets a chance. If you watch him, in a lot of his movies, he wears sweatshirts from colleges here in New Hampshire. We're trying to get him an NEC one, but we're working on that.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's just all in good fun, I think.
Well, Mama and Dad were watching Dwayne Johnson's football movie, not Longest Yard, but that's an Adam Sandler one. Game Plan. It's an old one.
Yeah.
But there's a part in there where he's eating at the Boston Crab.
Yeah.
On the Boston Harbor where
this
we
one where he has a little girl.
Yeah.
I've seen this one. He has a bulldog, by the way.
I know.
Yeah.
He has bulldogs anyway.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Frenchies though.
And I totally didn't remember it because I hadn't seen this movie in forever.
That's an old one.
Yeah, but when I first got up here last fall, when I officially moved up here, we went and saw the Boston Harbor, where the Tea Party happened, and Cheers Bar and all that, and we ate right there at Boston Crab, where that's in that movie he's filming. And Mom's like, and she texts me, he's like, oh my gosh, this is where we were there, and oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Because she had to remind me, it's like, because I don't remember, but it's the part where he finds out she's allergic to peanuts,
Right,
and gives him
the kid.
that ice cream, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's funny. I haven't seen that in years.
Yeah, that was filmed in that area.
Boston's a great city. I got my doctorate at Northeastern in Boston, and so I got to spend a lot of time there. And as much as I'm a Yankees fan, Fenway is an historic park. Going and seeing a ball game, especially if you see the Yankees Red Sox play. Man, that's one of the coolest experiences. But there's so much of the history there. Daniel Hall.
That's one thing I liked about it. The announcer was talking about it's like one of the oldest ballparks around.
That
It is.
Fenway.
It's still in
Fenway
operation.
and Wrigley.
Yeah, Fenway and Wrigley, right. I mean, it is so much history when you walk around. I mean, it's old. It shows its age, but, man, it's cool. It's
Especially
not like
the big green wall.
Yeah, the Green Monster.
The Green Monster, yeah. We had several guys never even come close to topping it. that night I watched Rangers and Boston game, but yeah, it was unbelievable.
It is a fun city.
So you've been to Fenway?
Yeah.
You've been there. Okay.
Yeah.
So you saw the Rangers game there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a home game. Because that's one thing we were planning a trip to Boston.
Yeah.
And like we were trying to figure out something else to do besides the tea party and
Right.
Yeah.
Cheers bar.
Right.
Like what else is? Let's go to a baseball game.
Yeah.
And they just so happened to be playing the Rangers that week.
Yeah.
Perfect time.
Works out.
So yeah, so we went and got some great seats for very cheap.
Yeah, it's not
We
too
were behind third base in the Boston dugout.
bad. There you go.
Or no, the Rangers dugout, and like $70 for two people.
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
I was like, wow.
I mean, you still got to buy a $14 beer, but
Well, that's
that's how they get you.
that's
Still,
that's a different story.
It's worth it.
If I was with family, not family, then maybe so.
All right.
Yeah, I grew up with a dad as a youth pastor, so
Okay.
Oh,
gotcha.
okay.
I'm
There you go.
not on that
Understood.
not on that level.
All right. So now we're talking about like a $9 Coke.
Right.
yeah, that's exactly what I had. I had a Diet Coke. Mom had water. That was like $18.
That's it. That sounds about right.
Yeah.
So listen, man, I got to tell you a funny story real quick. We have time?
Yeah, we got time.
Real quick, funny story. Remember I took the offensive lineman out for pancakes?
Of course.
Pancake House, right?
Hence the name of this podcast.
That's right. And I also took the field hockey team. And I thought for sure those ladies would be like, they're going to go have some pancakes. I took the whole team. And I thought, nobody's going to eat the way football players eat.
Yeah.
Man, you guys are in trouble. Those women can eat.
Really?
Oh, my goodness.
Dude, that's one thing I was telling the guys afterwards, like, I can imagine what that check was.
No, it was. I was like convinced this is gonna be no big deal, but
Because that's where we were like, should we get water and
You
one
guys are
plate?
good.
Because, we knew you were going to buy, but we're like,
oh man,
should
no.
we be courteous?
No, I wanted you
It'd
to
be
eat, right?
nice.
It's fine. But when I was like, all right, I underestimated the hunger. I mean, they were like, can we get another plate? I'm like, okay, sure, do what you want to do. And they're like, going to town. It was so much fun to watch. Right?
I was like, let's stick with one and go from there.
They saw Mene come in, and I swear to God, they sent another cook to the back. And I'm not a little guy. Man. I sit next to Mene, and I feel pretty svelte.
He's
I mean,
and
I'm like, all right, man, get whatever you want. He just got this grin, and I was like, oh God, this is going to be a thing.
Dude got like 2 Dilla chocolate milk, a Dilla apple juice, and then he got another 2 plates. And I was like, dude, you gotta chill, relax.
Okay.
But yeah, it was pretty cool.
That was fun.
And the girls ate more.
They did. They're like locusts. They just descended on everything.
Well, see, the thing is, we hold on to it. They eat a lot, and they can get rid of it the next day or two.
Yeah,
So
they were going to the gym. They were going to go running. I mean, they don't mess around. And they are phenomenal. I mean, again, it's another game where you're constantly moving. We watched.
Yeah, we did.
It's amazing.
Can I tell them a story about us screaming at them?
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
so we're at the game, and it seemed like, the referees or linesmen, whatever they're called, were calling everything against us. It was driving us nuts. So we started yelling at the ref, like, what are you doing? There's another team on the field,
Ref, you're missing a great game here.
Yeah, you're missing. And so Wayne said, why are we doing this? We don't even know the rules of
I
the
have
game.
no idea what the rules are.
So my wife bought us both books. It's
For
kind of like
Christmas.
for
That's
Christmas.
funny.
It's kind of like rules of
Field
field hockey for
field hockey,
dummies kind
whatever,
of
yeah,
thing,
exactly.
you know. I better read that.
I still
soon,
haven't
too.
read it yet.
I haven't either. No,
That's
but that
funny.
was fun.
That was fun. They played great field hockey, and they won a lot of games.
Yeah.
My niece is on the team, so it's fun to go watch her.
Yeah, and
Okay.
Andrea, she's like finally
She's
getting out of school.
graduated.
I
She's
guess
done, man. It's like
that's
5 or
6 years.
6
I
years,
think, right? Yeah, she was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And she's gone.
She
but-
is a force to watch.
Oh, yeah. And she teaches that too.
Yeah.
And the school, you probably know this. They do a field hockey weekend for kids in the area.
Yep.
For schools in there.
Youth field hockey.
Yeah, and our nurse physician assistant that we have, their daughter, she has twins, a guy and a girl. She comes to this and she loves it.
That's great.
Doc says it's unbelievable.
That's great.
It's really cool, which is great.
Good stuff.
Well, I have about 15 more minutes, and I was just going to end with some music.
All right.
And,
Sounds good.
What kind of music?
What I have queued up right now is Grandpa Tell Me About the Good Old Days by
Wow.
the Judds.
I feel like that's a commentary on us.
I know. That's what he's ending with. I get
No
it.
reason at all, okay? Well, I usually end with a sports song, but
Yeah.
You know-
Coach, I'm ready to play. That
no, it was actually the Texas Longhorns song because
Okay.
I'm a big Longhorn fan. So
Oh,
but-
Bevo.
yeah, it's
The
pretty. It's
big
actually
Southern
it's actually
Bulldog.
pretty good. It talks about like Sharp and Colt McCoy and
Yeah.
Colton.
As an
Campbell and a bunch of the guys and Vince Young. He lists all kinds of names and that. You know what? We'll play that instead since Grandpa and Grandpa over here got upset.
No. And I was almost going to thank you for having us on.
You know.
You're doing so well there.
Hey, you know what? You're not the only one, okay? I am getting to that area. Everybody on the team. So I'm like almost 5 years older than the majority of the guys on the team.
How old are you?
I'll be 25 when we play fall in the ball next year.
I remember 25. That was a long time ago.
But most of these guys are like 19, 20 in that area. They just graduated high school. And so it's either uncle.
If they start calling you Pappy, you know you've
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I was like, dude, I'm getting old if you're already thinking that that person that's 5 years older than you is old. This new generation is unbelievable.
I remember when I was 20 years old thinking, God, 30 is so old, right? That's And
I
now,
won't even say when I thought you should be old.
yeah,
No
I'm
way.
like quarter of a
Not
century.
on the air, anyway.
I always thought 50.
yeah,
Like you get 25, then like, dude, 25 more years, I'm gonna be really old.
I thought 60.
yeah. See, 60 is the age, but now I'm 55, so I pushed past 50. I said, "Oh, 60's got to be there,
Yeah, we'll say 60.
and then it'll be 70."
Yeah.
Well, thanks for having us on, buddy.
Yeah,
thanks. Enjoyed it.
You're listening to the Pancake Platoon podcast.
Love that name.
I'm your host, Bodie Robinson. Thank you for my special guest, Mr. Wayne and JP. I appreciate y'all coming on and sharing what little and a lot that y'all know about football and all there is about NEC sports.
It's awesome. Thanks for having us on,
Thanks.
buddy.
Yeah,
Appreciate
appreciate
that.
y'all.